Oh, you're live, by the way, bro.
Yeah, I just noticed. Hi, yes, welcome to episode 59 of the Chronicles of Nidum. Such a dick. Episode 59 of the Chronicles of Nidum, run by us, Dice of the Beholder, and streamed by Heavyweight Gaming for now. But yes, welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry we missed last week. It's a bit last minute, but we hope to bring you a fantastic evening again of dice rolls and hilarity, and I don't know, maybe I'll try and make some of them cry. But before we get into that, a word from our sponsors. Loki Battle Mats are award-winning, sponsor number one, Loki Battle Mats, award-winning UK-based TTRPG accessory creator. There are many books of battle mats, little, big, and small, and giant sizes, are full of amazing artwork that add an awesome backdrop to any tabletop game. If you are interested in finding out more, please search Loki Battle Mats, L-O-K-E, on Facebook, or visit lokibattlemats.com to view their amazing artwork and shop their physical and digital maps. Second sponsor of the evening is the returning sponsor, as always, is our friends over at Blink Dog Dice. When my little teleprompter decides it wants to work, there we go. The amazing dice maker, a small dice maker based in Cardiff. You can find wonderful examples of their work available on their Etsy store. You just search Blink Dog Dice, all one word, on most social media platforms, and pop over to Etsy too. Please go show them some love and tell them we sent you. Without further ado then, if you want to bring everyone else onto the screen, AD? I'm getting a weird echo. Hang on, sorry. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Millie, do you know you're in the Discord call?
No.
That's probably what the echo is coming from.
You've been in it all day.
Yeah, you have. That's a fact.
I'm out of it now.
There we go. Yes. Right. So, hi, how is everyone? Everyone feeling better?
Yeah.
I've been in Discord today, thanks.
Greg, have you stopped playing Dead Cells?
Yes.
For now?
Didn't sound convincing.
Well, yeah, I mean, for the duration of the time it takes me to get my character sheet open and everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got your boy.
Okay.
My little one. The big one's up there.
Yeah.
I've got my little one.
So I know it's been, obviously we missed last weekend. So especially then for M, who wasn't with us last session anyway, last time on the Chronicles of Nidum. Last time on the Chronicles of Nidum, you spent 4 hours playing what was effectively 4 hours in game. The party, after returning to their cabin to rest that evening, had a little bit of an argument. There was a heated debate about what should be done with the train and how to free the human prisoners in the rearmost carriages. One of you decided to leave the carriage, Dice, and not so much storming off in a rage, but left angrily to go about their normal, regular nighttime pursuit of trying to feed the humans. Unfortunately, this time, it all turned out very differently. You very quickly discovered that the humans were fearful. And upon searching around the carriages and moving further and further down the train, you started to hear the sounds of pain, torture. And it was when you got then to the storage carriage that you discovered Oriana's new friend, Luster, the succubus, being tortured by the assistant of the Inquisitor. Hurrying back to the cabin and your friends, you all made your way very quickly back down the train, following in Oriana's wake, as Oriana rushed to save her new friend. And instead of stopping to plan, as you usually do, Oriana kicked the door down and proceeded to effectively kick the guy's face in with magic. After a few very choice spells, a very clutch darkness, taking at least 2 of your opponents out of the equation, a very well-placed lightning bolt a lot of explosions. You saved Leicester, but unfortunately lost the rear 4 carriages of the train. With the storage gone, you rushed back to the cabin to quietly hide out as the train pulled to a stop so that the guards and the Inquisitor could investigate. It wasn't therefore long afterwards that you were requested, or your presence was anyway, in the dining carriage to meet the Inquisitor. The people who went, I believe, sorry, I'm jogging my own memory, Sepsis, Oriana, Dice in their automaton guise, and Fives proceeded to go to the dining carriage and meet with the Inquisitor. All of you failed, unfortunately, your wisdom saving throws. Well, sorry, all of you, apart from Sepsis, passed your wisdom saving throws. I apologize.
Jesus Christ, dude.
However, whereas for many of you, failing a wisdom saving throw would have meant you were found out, your disguises ruined, it seemed that the Inquisitor found something in Sepsis that they liked, that interested them. With a promise of secrets, possibly power, and taking Fives as his new bodyguard, the Inquisitor left you all then to go to bed that night, thinking on what he'd said. And go to bed you did, restless, in the knowledge that in a few days' time you would be making your first stop out of 3 on your journey towards Paras. And you wake the next morning.
Rich, what did we agree with Natasha? I think we agreed we weren't going to do anything.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. That's
Not
fine.
do anything as in we're not going to confront her, or
No, we were talking about hijacking the train.
Yeah, no, we're going to wait until after the next stop, I think, before talking about it anymore. I think we've just got a couple of days to kill before we get to the first stop.
Just want to check, Brad, does this mean we can take a long rest?
Absolutely. You can all take a long rest.
Because I was in a bit of a...
Thank God.
wasn't in the best of conditions after that fight. Not health-wise, just magic-wise.
I seem to be fine.
I am not.
I mean, you did use things, I think, but...
Maybe just magic, because...
Well, I wasn't able to mark any of it off on the character sheets. So.
Yeah, there we go. That's fine. I'll just reset it to be safe. But...
Yeah.
Oh, I need to go into my sorcery points, because for some reason, a short rest doesn't take all that off.
It's long rest.
Long rest, yes, I meant.
And I should know this, but I made the papers for Fives, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I've got them.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, because we need to present them next time we see the Inquisitor.
To claim him back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in the meantime, while I'm just going to carry on working on my Sending Stones project.
Okay. With that then, you do have a couple of days to kill. If there is anything particular you would like to try and do while you, as per Natasha's instructions, lay low for the time being, is there anything you would like in particular to do in over the next couple of days? Or are you happy with a time jump?
Let's do a time jump, sir.
I'm happy to do a time jump, but yeah, I'm going to be working on Sending
The only thing I want to do is finish reading my book.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to spend some time reading as well.
Okay. And you're going to work on your Sending Stones experiment. Dice, yeah? Okay, cool. First of all then, Dice, I would like you to make me a tinkering check.
Okay. What do I add to that again? Why don't I ever remember this? I'm really sorry, guys. There's something about tinkering checks that just makes my brain melt.
It is your God, it's been a while. It's your intelligence
And then my
plus your proficiency doubled because you've got Tinker's tools and you are proficient.
Yeah, so that's fine. That's 13, 24.
Okay. I will say then that this first new day, after your quite destructive fight the evening before, and the close call with the Inquisitor, sees you all nervously, mostly staying in your cabin. Oriana, uncharacteristically quiet, head buried in a book, as she feels the power from it suffuse into her. Sepsis,
Sounds creepy.
characteristically quiet. However, every once in a while, you think you hear dark whispers in a voice, not quite like Sepsis's, but from their general direction. You look over, but nothing seems too amiss. Dice, on the other hand, is characteristically loud. In their comfortable surroundings, Dice is hammering away. You hear lots of metal grinding sounds, stone, lots of sparks, not from where, and furious scribbling, as many incantations, many spells are rewritten, reworked over the stones in their hand. After the first day, Dice, I can't remember. What did you settle on what you wanted them to do? There were a couple of options I gave you.
Yeah, what were the options?
You can either have them so they work constantly, but only between two of them, and it's not over a great distance. No. Constantly between a set of them, but it's not over a great distance. They've got to be within a certain distance. Or it's quite a few times a day, but it was limited by... I genuinely can't remember.
I'm really just testing you. What we settled on was doing it, I think it was twice a day between the whole... So each sending stone could send twice a day.
Yeah.
To the others in the group to refresh after 24 hours, because the limited distance didn't work. We wanted the distance mattered as much, but it's not like we can use them to just whisper things to each other. It'll be twice a day. You can use your sending stone, send a message to the group or an individual.
So the first day, then you have the spell down.
Sorry,
you know how you want to affect the stones, and you know probably that it will work. However, it is going to take maybe another day, 2 days worth of ritual casting on these stones to get them all to do what you want them to do.
That's fine.
Okay. Sepsis, Oriana, you spend the entire day reading?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Breaks then to eat, to rest your eyes, to pass food and water. You can add another 12 hours to your reading time. At one point during that first day, a message is sent to Oriana. The door opens, the train staff hand over a note and take their leave. And it is from Rosette, explaining that unfortunately, due to the fact that security on the train has been compromised, She has been ordered by the Inquisitor that she can no longer walk about the train freely. She greatly apologizes that she will not be able to keep any of her appointments with you.
That's fair. Sort of knew that was going to happen. Just send a note back that says I look forward to having lunch with her in the city or at the next stop, wherever that is.
Okay.
And she can message me anytime.
As it comes up to the night then, and everyone, after a long day, either standing guard or working, reading, you fall into a quite needed sleep. Ace,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as you close your eyes, you can feel the wind against your face. You can taste salt as the water splashes on your lips. And you notice, far off in the distance, the sound of waves crashing. You're almost completely surrounded by sea. But you can hear it, but not quite see it. The darkness is too great. Even the floor around your immediate area drops away into almost nothing, as if you were standing on top of a mountain. Above you, black-grey clouds, royal, moving faster than you've ever seen clouds move. Almost like a river flowing above you. Apart from the wind, apart from the crashing of the waves, everything else is still and silent. Until a rumble begins. A familiar rumble. Thunder. Strange though, no light, no lightning, nothing to have caused the sound. But the rumble seems to be getting closer. As it does, a blinding flash lights up the landscape around you. And a huge fork of lightning strikes the ground in front of you. It takes a moment, but you realize the fork is not disappearing. It stretches forever, high up into the heavens, but it's frozen. Almost as if the lightning is made of some beautiful crystal, like a tree that stretches on forever. And you hear a contented hum coming from it. The sound is almost amused. You look to the bottom of the fork of lightning and you see a snake has been struck. It still lives, but the fork of lightning almost pierces it by its tail to the floor, and it struggles against the fork until the darkness starts to encroach again. The light from the fork dimming, the hum less amused now, angry. The anger turns to worry. The darkness reaches out with a tendril, takes the head of the snake, and suddenly is gone. Not bitten, not ripped, gone, as if it never existed. The rest of the snake starts to dissolve as the tendril of darkness, like a finger, reaches in to poke at the bottom of the lightning. And as it does, you blink again. You're back in the cabin. You are the first to wake, and it is morning.
Okay. Gonna probably sit up in bed and have a good meditate on that.
Okay. Roll me a religion check, then.
Mm-hmm. Need to check what my plus is. Oh yeah, it's 16 plus 4, so 20.
20.
Mhm.
Nothing you have read previously or been told or any of the stories that came from your father prepared you for what you saw in your dream. Nothing exact. However, the starkness of the place you found yourself in your dreams, the starkness of the imagery, the single bolt of lightning, the small snake, the darkness encroaching to snuff out the light. The only thing that it reminds you of is Ragnarok. But everything about Ragnarok shows you that there is a way through. The Rainbow Road leading the survivors after Ragnarok to start again after the gods have fallen. So your dream and its connections to Ragnarok, instead of giving you hope, worry you even more. As you think back on the dream and realize when the lightning struck, when the light flashed, and you saw the stark landscape around you, the grey ash, the dead trees, the nothing, there was no way out. You were unsettled by your dream, and unfortunately you are unsettled then for the rest of the day. Dice, if you can make me another tinkering check, please.
That'd be good. Oh, that's good. Okay. That is, why can't I just remember this? 29.
29? Okay.
Get running water.
Or a car?
You sit then for the second day, and instead of hammering and tinkering, you're much quieter. Ace, therefore, thinking to themselves, almost the loudest one in the room, as the other two in the room sit there with their books. One enjoys staring out at new sights in the countryside. Dice, you sit there in almost a trance, working on all of the sending stones. Anyone looking in would see a glow begin to emit from them as the color of them shifts and changes. You see little veins of white and silver start to break into the grey stone as your magic infuses them and your intent. For you, the trance feels almost like 10 minutes, but when you come out of it again, your friends have put their books down, their eyes weary, their heads hurting, and you realize that the sun has disappeared from the sky outside. You're almost there. Sepsis, Oriana, is there anything else you did that day apart from read?
Eat.
Okay. Again, then,
Basic bodily needs.
you can add another 12 hours on each. Sepsis, what's your total?
You're muted, Greg.
59.
59?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. As you all then move to sleep,
What's that noise?
No, I was thinking that as well. Is it mine or?
it's gone now. Sepsis, you do, after a long day of reading, take a moment, take yourself to the carriage bathroom, splashing water in your face. You look in the mirror. As you look in the mirror, you see your reflection with an uncharacteristic smile on its face. Entirely black eyes staring back at you. As one side of your lip cocks up into a smirk, you wink at yourself until the image snaps back and it is you once more. However, your pupils, until now a dark sliver in the center of your eye, now has expanded to encompass almost your entire eyeball, or both of them. There is very little color left around it. This is
Right.
going to become very difficult to hide.
I'm really sorry to interrupt. Can you try turning your mic off for a second? I want to see if it's yours or whose it is.
No, I think it's Greg. Try muting yours.
It's gone, but there's still a hiss, like a car driving past or something.
Yeah.
Try muting yours for a second. It's Ems. It's Ems because all the background noise just went away completely. You might have to unmute when you speak and then remute.
Is that better?
No,
Jesus
that's way
Christ.
worse.
Thank you.
That's much, much, much worse.
Much worse. Wait. Em's muted, but the cricket's still there.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, that's still there.
Now it's gone.
Didn't we have this last time and it was because, wasn't it because you were using the microphone on your webcam, Greg?
Yes, it was, but there's nothing I can do about that because my headset mic is fucked. I can try using my headset mic.
You might have to just unmute when you speak.
It was like
It does
was
it when
having-
he's muted.
Yeah.
When he's speaking.
It's stopped now.
I was
Stop
having
that.
like it would mute in the middle.
It's doing that.
Mm.
Yeah, it would just come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a problem. That is definitely a problem.
Charlie, do you still have the Yeti?
Yeah, that's what I use.
Oh, what you use? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But do you want my headset, Greg?
That doesn't make any sense. Then you won't have it.
Yeah, but I can look without one because the Yeti doesn't pick up my speakers.
Yeah.
I don't see how it makes any like it shouldn't be happening. There shouldn't be using the webcam shouldn't make a shitty sound happen.
Really odd.
Are you guys getting it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Waffle is very excited. He thinks he's going somewhere.
Sorry about this, guys. Technical difficulties.
Sorry, Brian, I had to interrupt because it's such a high-pitched squeaky noise that I was like, I need to say something.
Yeah, I couldn't keep my headset on any longer.
I think I've watched so many animes with cicadas in that I've just like drowned it out now in my
Mhm.
brain. Also, it helps that I have tinnitus, so
It just sounds like the inside of my
all the
head.
time. Yeah.
That being said, I don't particularly love it.
No, I wasn't a fan of it, but still, it's like I can like ignore it fairly easy.
A lot of people can't though, and I don't want people to be listening to the stream but unable to concentrate on it, you know?
Mm.
There we go. Hopefully that works.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So yes, sepsis. Your eyes, and as you stare at them, the darkness does not recede. It seems to grow ever so slowly. And you can see around the blackness, the inky kind of tendrils that are reaching out to almost swallow the rest of the color in your eyes. It's going to be very difficult for you to hide. You go back to the room. Everyone else is.
In the room, I'm going to dig out my. I'm going to dig out my old robes.
Oh, your old, your voluminous folds. Okay.
Not the return of that, please. It's been so long, bro. I thought that was fine.
You dig out your voluminous folds and wrap them around yourself to go to sleep. Almost as soon then, Sepsis, as you close your eyes, you find yourself sitting upright in a chair, the sun surrounding you, but not quite touching the table you sit at. There is a cup on a saucer in front of you. There seems to be some papers of some sort, some strange script written all over them, pictures as well of incredible detail. There are people everywhere, strange clothes, none dressed like they should be. Everyone, as you look around, there are more people in one place, walking by on this street, sitting in what appears to be a cafe around you, outside in the sunlight, than you've ever seen before, even in the cities you have visited. They all seem to be hurrying past, talking to each other, or outright ignoring each other. Then you notice the buildings stretching high into the sky around you, some 20, some 30 stories tall. Metal, glass, stone, gold, materials in abundance in front of you that you've only found in the tiniest of quantities. It is then that you notice the very, very thin, almost skeletal gentleman sitting across the table from you. No hood this time, no cloak. There seems to be an odd life to him. Takes you a moment before you can peer through the illusion and see the horrid visage beneath. You recognize your patron. Sepsis.
Master, what a pleasure.
What do you make of it?
It.
This. And he gestures with his cup out at the world around you.
Too many people.
Yes. Humans all. There are more humans in this city than there are on the entire continent you now visit. In the waking world, there are more humans on this continent than have ever been born or died in your waking world.
I presume this is where they went.
It would seem so. I think I was absent that day, as were many of the gods, for none of the others I have spoken to noticed, saw how or why.
Heck,
However,
miss.
Well, it would seem a certain connection to the material is required to solve this mystery, Sepsis.
Yes.
But also the power of one such as I. You're getting closer.
Perhaps. I don't feel close.
Trust me when I say that you are. But also, I worry.
Yes?
You seem distracted, Sepsis.
I don't have a task to focus on, Master. I feel directionless. I feel aimless. We are wandering around from place to place. The only guidance you've given me is that I should try and work out what the deal with this place is. It's, there's no library of bizarre dimensions full of humans and steel and glass that I've come across. Perhaps I just missed the sign.
Or perhaps you are even now hurtling towards one. Paras is a city of art, knowledge, and also perhaps houses those who were key players in the game that wrought this. I trust, though, that when you arrive, you will not be distracted by promises of power from elsewhere.
There was no secret when I entered into this arrangement, this service, that my end of it was increasing power. I seek the power to cheat death and to stand above all who would harm me. I don't appear to be gaining that power especially rapidly. And I haven't been given any guidance on how I can increase my power or the speed with which I gain it. I'm not aware that we ever entered into any arrangement that would prevent me from seeking power elsewhere as well, provided I serve you in all the ways that you require. So far, you haven't given me a single instruction which I haven't attempted to carry out, or indeed a single instruction.
You wish to be led by the hand, Sepsis.
I wish to know how I can become more powerful.
You seem to be studying well in that direction.
Indeed.
There are many passages in the book you have in your possession written by myself when the world was young. When you can understand that, you will have an inkling of how to become one such as I.
The book is going to start causing me a problem, I think.
How so?
I need the people around me in order to achieve a kind of meaningful goal in the city of Paras and beyond. And this disfigurement, which I'm experiencing currently, will tend to drive them away, I think.
Power requires sacrifice, Sepsis.
Yes, but the ability to carry out my goal requires tools.
I trust that your powers of persuasion will be enough to keep them on board.
I had before an ability granted so generously by you that allowed me to disguise my appearance. I feel that I gave that up in favor of another power, but I feel that that power again could be of great benefit to me.
And you would wish that I rescind one gift and give another again.
If it isn't too much trouble.
It is good that you ask this of me now. If you had asked after entrance into Paras, I may not have been able to oblige. Just this once. It is done, Sepsis.
Thank you.
I believe in Paras. You may find some more of the answers I have had you seek. However, You must learn to listen. For sometimes you do not even know the answers are being given.
Delightful.
Take care, Sepsis. There are secrets in that book that would do you well to be kept secret.
I've never been too talkative.
Until next time. The images around you, or the world around you, swims, and you fall into a deeper slumber. And everyone wakes up the next morning.
Sorry, mechanically, am I allowed to swap my invocations
Yes.
on the basis of that? Yeah, cool.
Dice, I'd like you to roll me a tinkering check, please.
Okay.
Uh, 28.
28.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Again then, for the rest of the day, you spend it doing nothing more than chanting, going about your ritual, affecting the stones. And at the end, you have not made a new magical item, you have changed an item that was already magical.
Mhm.
And when I homebrew it with the exact rules, it will be on you, but for now, you can say you have a set of sending stones that do exactly what you want them to
Okay. Is that at the end of the day, yeah?
at the end of the day.
Okay. I won't tell anyone about it until the next day.
Okay. Sepsis, Oriana, you're just going to read all day? Cool.
Yes, but I'm going to use Mask of Many Faces from now to disguise my. I basically just changed my appearance to myself, but with my normal eyes.
Okay. That's fine. Take the voluminous folds back off. Halfway through the day then, Sepsis, your reading is disturbed. At lunch, the maitre d' arrives with food, finer than you are used to, or have been used to for the last couple of days. Bonjour, it is a lunch that has been sent on behalf of the Inquisitor for one Sepsis.
That is I.
He wishes you a good day in Shalem. Hope you are enjoying your journey and would like you to partake in the fineness of our food. He would also request your company for breakfast in the first class dining carriage tomorrow. He requests your presence for food and conversation before we pull into the station in late morning. He also requires an answer.
Yes, please inform the Inquisitor that it would be my pleasure to dine with him.
This is a catch-up for the Inquisitor is blackmailing Sepsis.
Yeah, fully blackmailing.
I'm aware, but I was just
Yeah.
find it really funny. That's how it appears to everyone else. We're like, wait a minute.
Rich, just a thing. I don't think the Inquisitor calls sepsis.
No. I can't remember what name you gave.
I don't know if you're muted, love.
Don't remember what name I gave either. It was 2 weeks ago.
Also, doesn't he?
No.
Yeah, I might have said sepsis.
Did you? Okay.
He might not have had to.
Oh, yeah. Detect thoughts.
He did fail his wisdom saving throw.
They did fail. Okay.
They did fail, sorry.
I threw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the rest of the day progresses. Oriana, that's another 12 hours on the book for you.
I think the book's done.
The book is done. Okay. Click and activate the book.
I think it is 33. Yeah, 33 out of 12. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more. Yeah, it's more. It's an hour more than what I need. But yes,
Yes.
done.
And what is your dexterity now?
Christ. So I save. It's now 12. Do you want to know what the plus is? Stop closing when I don't want you to close. I'm trying to delete something, you little shit. Thank you. Dexterity is now +1.
Okay.
My intimidation went up with it as well.
That should have been the Tome of Leadership and Influence.
That's the one I've just been reading.
Oh, that would make your charisma go up, not your dexterity.
Sorry, yes, no,
Yeah.
charisma is now 22.
I'm jealous.
Yep. Okay.
My
So
intimidation is now +10.
So, yeah, sepsis, that's another 12 hours for you as well. So what's that, 60, no, 71?
Not to flex on you, Sepsis, but I've read 2 books in the time it's taking you to read that one.
71, the 71 hours now, yeah?
I have
See-
a very busy social schedule, Ariana.
Oh, it sounds like it.
I believe, sepsis, you've got 9 hours left?
I do.
Okay, all right.
Nearly there.
So, you go to sleep that night. Oriana,
What's up?
as you close your eyes, you find yourself in a familiar forest. It is the forest around Nidum. The trees, though, are old, larger. The forest is unkempt. The paths that you know, you can tell by where the hills are. You can see the ivy tower through the tree, through the canopy off in the distance. There should be a path beneath your feet, but the grass is not trodden. The roots have not been cut back. The undergrowth, bushes have not been moved. You see movement off to the left. There are deer, larger, shaggier than normal. The wildlife closer to the town, as you know, it's just through those trees in front of you, closer to the town than they normally would be. This is a Nidum, possibly of now, a Nidum of the future, a Nidum devoid of inhabitants. As you feel yourself making your way through the forest towards the town, you find the ground below you is like soup. It's difficult to move. And you hear your name, Oriana, whispered to you by the wind from all around. It is not a scary voice, but it has an etherealness to it. You've heard ghosts before. This is the same, but slightly more solid. You turn. There is a hulking figure standing before you. Dark skin, weather-worn, sun-kissed, shaven-headed, the figure of a man. Cuts all over his hands, holding a tool, a long hoe. Someone used to working in the field, working all day for his food, for his town, for his family. There is a sad smile on his face as he looks at you. He takes a shield from his back, a shield beaten, worn, gashes, nicks taken out of it, greatly used. As he walks towards you, you notice that his feet leave no imprint on the floor. As you look back up at him, you can see a strange, soft, bright blue glow emanating from around him. And as he places the shield at your feet, he looks up at you. I would have defended you. I am sorry. And with that, the dream ends. And you wake. And it is the next morning for everyone once again in the cabin.
Hi,
I
good
hate
morning.
you. What have you done? You
What do you
little
mean?
shit.
What do you mean?
Let the innocent.
You've hurt Fives. I know where you live.
Hmm.
Look at that DM regret.
You all wake up. It is quite early, dawn. Breakfast is not for another hour or so.
Do you know where he lives? You have a key to his home.
Is there anything in particular you'd like to do before breakfast?
Yeah, I'm going to, as soon as I get up, I'm going to be like, hey, I stayed up late last night, but I finished something I've been working on.
Yep.
And I'm going to give everyone the most boring looking stone you've ever been handed in your life. Look, I made you a present. Look, everyone.
Just like holding it in my hand like, thanks. A rock.
It's a rock dice.
No, it's
I take it and I'm just like, this isn't the first time Dice has given me a rock, and I'm like, thanks.
I'm very sure this is a very special rock.
It's an important rock. So you remember when you were being chased by the bounty hunter, Ori, and it would have been super useful to be able to tell us what was happening.
I mean, I could. Well, I could tell one of you.
But you could have done, and you did. You messaged us. But if it had been Ace or if it had been Sepsis or me, we wouldn't have been able to tell anyone what was going on. These are sending stones, but they're linked together as a set of 4.
Okay.
And twice a day, you can send a message from your stone to the whole group or to one of the stones. So you can choose who you want to send a message to.
Okay, so I can send messages for all of you to ignore now.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I
don't
look forward to
ignore your
ignoring your
messages.
messages.
Sorry, Sepsis?
I look forward to ignoring your messages.
Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me, but should you need help, at least you'll be able to get in touch and tell us.
How does it work?
You literally just, and I'll show them how to use the magic on it. You literally just do this.
Oh, I heard that these things give people a deadly virus.
Fortunately not. These are very carefully made.
Does
Nothing
it have 5G?
It's safe. But hopefully they'll be useful for us anyway, if we get stuck.
Yeah, it would be handy, definitely. And it means it's not as exhausting for me.
Well, that was the other thing I considered. I thought maybe you might like to stop using some of your magic to message us things. Just at the time.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's more
When did the Inquisitor say he would give 5s back? It was when we reached Paras, wasn't it?
Reach Paras.
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
Yeah,
I just have a bad feeling. But I mean, that man causes nothing but bad feelings, so.
I think that's
He's
just
a
what
bad
he is.
vibe as a person.
This man is just a bad feeling.
Oh yeah,
Personified.
speaking of, I think I have to go and have breakfast with him today.
Oh yeah.
Boy for you.
Can you check on 5s while you're there?
Jack how?
Make sure he seems himself.
I mean, to be fair, technically you own him partially, so you can inquire after your property's well-being, surely, without it
Yes.
being suspicious.
Oh, I might need the ownership papers.
Yeah, I hand them over because I've got them at the moment. I hand them over. But there you go. If he asks, you've got them. There's the papers. I am eager to have him back.
I explained to Sepsis quickly that it proves that he was purchased in Albion in the sheriff's office where they had a spare automaton.
Thank you.
No problem. I hope your lunch goes. You know what? I'm sure it's going to suck, actually. I think it's going to suck balls.
Have a nice breakfast. I hope he doesn't probe your brain again.
Yes.
I know, you can't tell us anything.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you want me to come with you?
I don't think you can.
Bet you wouldn't take kindly to that.
Yeah, I imagine you wouldn't.
After making it very clear that he wants you and you alone, Sepsis, I think you're fucked.
Is it today or tomorrow we're arriving at the first stop?
Should be today, I think.
Yeah, it's been 3 days, so it should be today.
It is, as implied in the message that came from the Inquisitor, it is today. It will be late morning at the end of breakfast time that you're probably due to pull in to the station.
Which means I'm supposed to be meeting with Rosette today.
I feel like we're very involved in the Inquisitors. You know what? Actually, I'm going to shut up. No offense, Sepsis. Yeah.
With that, there is a knock at the door.
I turn into an automaton instead.
I turn into Sylvia.
I'll don my hat and turn back into the half-orc.
Someone knocks on the door of Warlick.
Just
The
panic
door
response now.
Yeah.
Door opens. It is the
Muscle
same.
memory.
It is the same staff member that brought the message for Sepsis the day before. Bonjour. Good morning. I have a message for Oriana. For Sylvia. I apologize. I apologize. Sorry.
I
For
apologize.
Sylvia. You are to meet Rosette and have breakfast with her if it is your wish. The Inquisitor has given her permission. They did not want to leave her in their room on her own.
Yeah, that's fine. Yes, I'll come along.
I will relay your reply, Marcy, and he leaves.
Cool.
I guess.
wonder if I can... Sorry, you were going to say something, Dice.
I was just going to say, I guess if he's going to be there with Sepsis, he would rather have her nearby. Heaven forbid his little concubines get away. Concubine, not concubines. That's an animal.
That's a different thing.
That she's
That's a porcupine you
left on
fuck.
soup.
It's a
That's a cluster of pine cones.
It's a concubine. Right.
It's the Pine King.
That's what Ace used to call themselves as a child. You'd collect all the pine cones in the forest and declare themselves the Pine King.
I am the Pine King.
I have a very Bart beret coming in the post that has a Rat King embroidered on the back. It's going to be great.
Ori, would you mind if I came with and acted as your automaton for the purpose?
I would greatly appreciate it.
I would like to, just in case something fucks up.
No, I would appreciate it. I had
I'll
a really... You're going to stay here?
Yeah, I'll stay here with one.
Okay.
That's fair. Order room service.
This way, one
That's
would
the
be
plan.
the loneliest number.
Come back, Ace and one sat with just loads of food around them in a food coma.
Make sure you keep your sending stone on you, because if anything goes wrong, I can get in touch with you now.
Will do. And with that, Ace is going to pull out the sort of undershirt and just sort of tuck it in. I hope it's a flat stone.
Like a pebble.
Like a pebble, like a river rock.
A flat one?
Yeah, it can
Mine
be.
in my cleavage.
They're not that big.
Okay.
You're okay. I think we're going to breakfast then.
You could wrap it in wire and turn it into a necklace of some form. Like a pendant.
Theoretically, it's about...
Circlet.
I could see that.
Chunky jewellery.
Definitely not a bad idea.
We could make a business out of this. If you could make a lot of these.
Taking me 3 days.
Yeah, imagine how much you could sell them for.
I guess. We'd have to get
Turn
hold
them
of.
into jewelry, sell them as like sets, so you and your friends can stay in contact.
You know, with your artificer knowledge and the experience of casting the spells on these stones,
Yeah.
changing a sending stone to do this might take you a couple of days. Creating from scratch a stone that could do this would probably take you a couple of weeks for
Yeah,
a pair.
Bring their own sending stones. I'm afraid it would take a very long time.
Mm.
Or I could charge an absolute fucking fortune for the sending stones. It's a
I
business
mean,
for later.
long distance relationships,
Yeah, I guess.
people will pay.
Perhaps you could get them to enter into like 48-month contracts or something.
Yeah.
You'll be the mobile phone.
Slowly pay it off over. Look, we're gonna start the first ever mobile phone network in a D&D world, okay? Don't fuck this up.
All right. I'll look.
Hey, campaign 1, you started a castle insurance company, or wanted to, in like the
Formed
second
it.
session. Okay, so
I also
Instead of
reformed
Vodafone,
the
it's
prison
just
system.
you did reform the prison system. You
reformed the
absolutely
healthcare
reformed the
system.
prison system.
I think the
You did reform the healthcare system.
the problem is, if you remember, like the first mobile phones to get really big were like, you know, the old Nokia ones. And if we're starting out with rocks, they're nowhere near as durable.
Accurate.
Yeah, pretty much. But yes, so you're all going to make your way to the breakfast carriage.
Yes.
Okay. So you all get ready. We'll move then as one up through the carriages. You can see a lot fewer people at this time of the morning than making their way for breakfast. Everyone seems to be aware of the fact that you're about to pull into the station. Most people seem to be in their own cabins. You can hear the hustle and bustle of everyone getting themselves ready, packing their things, those who are going to be disembarking to make room for people who are catching the train from here on. When you get to standard class, I suppose, then, the dining carriage, there are maybe 2 or 3 people in there. The Durga, seemingly unmoved since you last saw him 3 days ago at the same table with the same tankard in front of him.
I sort of cast a word, like look at him and look at the bartender, a bit worried, like, is he okay?
The bartender's like... but a waitress does come up to you as you enter, Sylvia, with everyone else. Bonjour, good morning. You are here for Rosette?
Yes.
She has picked a table in this carriage for you, if you will follow me.
Yep.
She has not picked a table for more than 2. Are there?
Oh, this is my automaton.
And
They'll just stand nearby.
And your friend here? He points at Sepsis.
Sepsis has a reservation with the Inquisitor.
Ah, oui, the Inquisitor's guest. We are also waiting for you. Please, after I seat your friend, if you will please follow me, I will take you through to the first class business carriage. Oui, please. And they move further on. You can see then, as she's quite short, as you come around like a plant used for decoration in the dining carriage, you can see then Rosette kind of very happily kind of waving at you, bouncing up and down in her chair. You can see she's probably spent the last 3 days quite bored. Roll me a perception check. Anyone who cares.
Having Rex in my dice tray doesn't work. He keeps cocking my dice.
Perception. I know how to roll. Oh,
12.
20.
12.
Okay. Oriana, nothing really amiss as you sit down. Dice, as you come up behind them, Rosette, you see, rises from her chair, hugs Oriana. You can see the redness around her eyes. Also quite dark bags, as if she's just recently been crying and has dried her eyes with a handkerchief in preparation to meet Oriana. She's not wearing makeup, as she was previously. Quite plain, but probably more beautiful because of it. But she seems thinner, like she hasn't eaten well over the last 3 days. Perhaps has not slept well. She's drawn, exhausted. She's not happy.
How close are we to her?
Oriana is hugging her.
Yeah. Okay.
As you are all situated then, the waitress turns to Sepsis. Please, monsieur, if you will follow me.
You muted. Okay, now you're muted. That's weird.
That was weird.
I say yes, but before I leave, I look at Ariana and say, "Remember, friend, loose lips and ships and all that."
I know. Not me I'm worried about.
You then, Sepsis, are taken through the doors. The guard stands aside as you are led through into the much more opulent first-class dining carriage that you know is there, as you've seen it through Worm's eyes previously. You are completely alone, except for halfway down into the carriage, sitting at a table, the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor is alone. No one with them. You can see the waiting staff. You're not counting them, really. Standing off to one side, ready at his beck and call. The Inquisitor doesn't seem to react as you enter. And it does take a moment before, when you eventually reach the table and sit down, he does then look up and say, late to breakfast, I see.
I do apologize, my lord. I wasn't sure how early of a riser you would be.
There is an old adage, I believe, the early bird wins all, or something like that. I don't know, I don't go for these peasant
Scream.
proverbs.
Just scream from the other carriage. Get the worm!
I had a slightly strange upbringing. I don't know the phrase either.
Strange upbringing. I suppose growing up in Albion, being one of your persuasion. Yes, strange upbringing would be possibly the most diplomatic way of putting it.
I was raised as an apprentice to a rather single-minded master. There was a lot of work in particular areas and not a lot of education in social graces. I fear that my etiquette may fall below the lofty standards to which you are accustomed.
I am surprised once again, then, my friend, to find that there are apparently a great deal of commonalities in our upbringings. I, too, was apprenticed to a single-minded master. Great man. Pity what happened to him.
Yes.
Hmm.
My master also met an unfortunate end.
Yes.
I mourn him daily.
I can see the grief in your eyes.
Well, grief, yes, but great comfort to hear you call me friend. My heart swells, my lord, that you would be so generous.
As I explained last time, Sepsis, I am looking for friends to join me in a venture that could perhaps shape the future of the Empire. There are those that would have it become a republic, where people vote according to things. Quaint. But I don't think for a second that should ever be allowed to come to pass.
No. Why allow the sheep to dictate to the lion?
I like that. I like that a lot. Takes away from the dragon connotations. I've heard a similar saying previously. Something about dragons and wolves. Again, I'm not the most social of creatures. I find it strange to talk to anyone at all, as it is rare that I get to converse with someone as educated as yourself. I am surrounded most of my life, or most of my days, by the prattlings of women. But I do have a weakness for surrounding myself with pretty things. Pretty things that last, anyway. So,
You do seem to have rather charming company on your journey here.
really, you find the Rose, I think, charming?
Oh, she has charmed my companion, Sylvia.
It is a thing women tend to do. They find the same inanity in each other that they have in themselves and flock to each other like geese. I would talk now, though, of your future, Sepsis.
By all means.
I was going to dangle some bait, as it were. Get your interest and secure an appointment with you once you reach Paras, for I fear I must take your leave quite soon.
You won't be continuing on the train with us, my lord?
I will be continuing my journey to Paras, but in an hour or so, I will no longer feel entirely safe on this train, I will be making my journey overland, shall we say.
And our automaton?
Oh, your automaton. He's in the cabin. You can collect him once I have vacated. He was defective.
My lord?
I'm not, I'm... The creation of the automatons is a closely guarded secret amongst the elves. It is something we pride ourselves on, and it did not take long for me to notice that his control collar on his soul crystal had been damaged beyond repair. Unfortunately, that gives them a certain amount of free will. I know not when he would have eventually stabbed you all in the back to gain his own freedom, but it would have been almost a certainty. So, I took it upon myself, Sepsis, to do you a favor. You can keep the body for scrap. I believe there are some out there who will pay for the parts to repair their own automatons, but I'm afraid he is gone.
I'm furious, my lord.
Where's my car keys?
I have been. I regret only that the defective unit was purchased back in Albion, where the criminal scum who sold such a faulty piece of equipment is now safe from having me remove their tongue with a heated set of pliers.
Do you have the bill of sale?
Yes,
Might I
of course. course.
He reaches out his hand to take it from you.
I pass it.
Okay. Ah, yes, the sheriff's office. Unfortunately, there is a certain disease of corruption that comes with these backwater boroughs. I will send some of my inquisitors over, some of the lower rung over, and they will root out these corrupt officials. And I see here an amount. Meet me in Paras, Sepsis, and we will arrange possibly an address for you, and I will pay you back in kind.
This is very much appreciated and far too kind. Right, I'm gonna cast detect thoughts as a subtle spell.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So obviously using a sorcery point to cast it as a subtle spell. I'm not going to try and probe beyond Inquisitor's surface thoughts.
Okay. So surface thoughts is what you want right now, yeah?
Yeah, you get that without without any kind of save or anything. So there's two things that I want to know. One is whether there's anyone else in this carriage, which I would be able to detect their thoughts as well. But mostly I just want to keep a running track of what the Inquisitor's thinking.
Okay. No problem. As the spell activates then, and spreads out throughout the room, apart from the Inquisitor, you get the fearful, kind of almost frantic mutterings of the waiting staff. It is almost the complete opposite of how they show themselves, very professionally standing there, completely stock still, no outward sign of stress or fear of the Inquisitor, waiting to be on his every beck and call. Inside, they're to a man, like the 4 staff you can see, are hoping they are not the one picked to serve him. The Inquisitor seems to be thinking about a game of chess. However, you can almost see the image. You can almost see the image of the chessboard in your mind. On his side, all of the black pieces are robed, very beautifully crafted, beautifully detailed elves. If you could zoom in on that thought, you'd imagine that every single one of them looked like a stylized version of himself. On the opposite side of the board are snakes. And you can see, as he tries to formulate thoughts, you can see different chess plays moving about the board, the snakes, the elves, taking each other. And you get a sense of great pleasure coming from the Inquisitor. He's very much enjoying speaking with you. But there is a darkness to those thoughts. He is enjoying speaking to you at the moment. There is a threat there. The thoughts, in particular, though, coming through at the moment, I wonder how long he's going to keep up this game. I also wonder how useful he can really be. Let us see. And on that note, before we carry on with the rest of the conversation or go back to Oriana and Rosette,
I'm going to fuck off and put the kettle on, have fun.
it is break time. Yes, coming up to 9 o'clock. So we're going to go on break. We'll be about 15 minutes, back at about 15:15. I didn't think to take pictures or get the dice out, so there'll be no giveaway this week. Very, very busy last couple of weeks, so I haven't done a proper dice competition on Twitter either, but that will get sorted. On that note, though, please, during break, pop over to Blink Dog Dice. Go to their Etsy store, check out their amazing work, and please pop over to Loki Battle Mats as well. Find out more about the Kickstarter, which is now finished. Massively broke the funding goal for their Wilderness book set, which I'm very, 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 very excited to get later on this year. But yeah, we're going to go on break. We will see you in a bit. Please stick around. AD. We're live. We are live. Yes. Hi. Yes. Welcome back to part 2 of episode 59 of the Chronicles of Nidum, presented by us, the Dice of the Beholder, and run by Heavyweight Gaming. As you can see,
And DM'd by a dead man.
I am still alive. Charlie has not jumped in a car and is not on her way to murder me, so everything's fine.
I nearly broke lockdown, bitch.
So, for those just joining us, and as a small recap for those who are still here, you woke, you spent a couple of days preparing for your entrance or your arrival at the first stop on the land train's journey through Shalem. This morning, however, your presence has been requested separately. Sepsis with the Inquisitor and Oriana with the Inquisitor's concubine, Rosette. Before we left off for break, we went through the conversation with the Inquisitor and Sepsis, or part of the conversation, where Sepsis did actually take your heed and inquire after your friend, who you had loaned to the Inquisitor at his request, fearful of what the Inquisitor might do if you had said no. Fives, the automaton. Unfortunately, just before break, the Inquisitor informed Sepsis that he had discovered that Fives was defective and that the control spell on the soul crystal that Fives had on him was broken, so had taken it upon himself to deactivate the defective automaton permanently. And that is where we left off, in a conversation none of you in character are privy to. So, back to Oriana. You've just met
No, but I have dreamt that Fives is dead.
There was no name given in your dream. You just saw someone with a familiar voice. And yes, you're with Rosette in the standard class dining cart. Dice, you have noticed that Rosette is tired, drawn, exhausted, looks like she's recently been crying. However, Oriana
you are, or didn't notice, you were just pleased to see her still alive, I suppose, fearful of what might have happened being left in the Inquisitor's company for so long. And Rosette is equally as, or looks as equally as pleased to see you. Sylvia, it is so good to see you. I have been so bored sitting in that room all alone. It is a great pleasure to be allowed out again. It is nice that we got to have this meal before, I suppose, before I am possibly not to see you again.
What do you mean? We've still got a couple of weeks left of this train journey.
Well, your companion will be being told by my master now, I suppose, so it is no secret. But I am not journeying to Paris by train for the rest of this journey. We are traveling across the land. The train journey has become dangerous. So we will be met by a guard. I do not know how many. However, he has mentioned that the Inquisition is sending some of its lower rang and some knights from somewhere to escort him across Chalem to Paris. There was some mention of magic, but I know not much about the magic.
Oh. Well, that's... I'll be bored without you.
Depending on how long the rest of the journey takes, I will be very bored without you also. But perhaps when we come to Paris, you could visit.
Perhaps I could send a message and we could meet up. I don't think I'll be going anywhere near the Inquisitor's property.
It's gravy
as I said,
time.
there is at least one day, I've been told, a week that we will be allowed out for an afternoon to shop and stretch my legs. Perhaps we can arrange for some refreshments when we are in the city.
Yes. I'd love to see you there, Rosette.
And I would love to see a familiar face also. I have been listening to my master, the way he talks about the other women in the harem. They are, how do you say, bitchy? I do not know if I will be
Is that the Inquisitor's opinion of them?
I have no one else's opinion to draw from.
Perhaps wait to make up your own mind about them.
Perhaps they will be very welcoming and nice to me when I arrive.
If not, you tell me.
I will when I send a message, but I will await yours first, for I will not know where to send one.
Of course.
If only there was some way we could always keep in touch, but alas.
Does he treat you well, Rosette?
He treats me as well as one would many of their servants, I suppose. I have not had servants myself. He treats me better than my mother, slightly worse than my father.
Right.
Oui. Sorry, yes. Sorry, stuck in character then. Yeah.
I'm going to put my hand on Ariana's shoulder as the automaton and just lean down to whisper in her ear. So,
okay.
You know, like an automaton giving information about the environment or something. I'll do my best. And
okay.
then go, she's been crying. And then I'm going to stand back up and go back to being very rigid.
Okay.
Thank you. I asked Rosette because you've been crying.
Oh, it is nothing. I was, I think, getting homesick. The further away I get, the scarier I suppose it becomes. It is nothing. It is nothing.
You can tell me, Rosette. I won't tell the Inquisitor. I'm a confidant.
Yes, it can be intimidating sometimes, scary. He has angers, particularly a few days ago when his assistant did not return.
I heard he also lost his bodyguards. I gave him my own, in fact. And I can't help notice you're here without one.
Unfortunately, he was in one of his hangars. He was talking to himself, listening for as if someone was replying to his messages, and then suddenly it seemed as if a great wind appeared in the carriage and destroyed the room. And then he came at me quickly. And I thought he would hurt me, but your automaton, he stood in the way.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he started to order the automaton to move, but the automaton refused. He would no longer listen to orders, and I think this enraged the Inquisitor even more. He started spouting something about defective and broken, and said he would deny him his freedom in his life as he had in his first one. I did not quite understand. And then he uttered an incantation, and the crystal on the automaton's chest broke. I am afraid your automaton is
I know what that means.
has gone.
I know, Rosette. Would you like me to explain to you what that means when he said denying the freedom in this life as he did the last? Do you know how automatons are made?
No, I had not seen one until the Inquisitor came to our farm.
They trap the souls of dead humans in them.
No,
They
that is
enslave the souls of humans.
disgusting. That is
The Inquisitor is a disgusting man. You see, elves, most highborn in general, will say that our kind are horrendous. Our ancestry being demonic makes us the worst of the worst. But in my life, I have learnt there is nothing worse than a highborn elf. And the things they have done to keep their position are worse than anything I have ever dreamt of doing.
But surely the Inquisitor is not the one who made the automatons. Perhaps it is not his fault. Or surely you are not telling me that the man I have tied the rest of my life to is completely evil, and I have made the grandest mistake.
I don't think you've made the grandest mistake. You've made a decision. Your parents made a decision that will keep you comfortable financially. Forgive my temper. I have more freedom than most have. I don't have a master. I am a woman without limitations. Rosette, if at any point you don't want to be at the harem anymore, you contact me, okay?
But what else would there be for me?
I'll find you something.
I know
I
what
know
most of our people do in the city, or in the cities and the towns.
you won't be a prostitute. I know people who can teach you skills. That's completely up to you, though. If you're comfortable in the harem, then you're comfortable there. You might find you enjoy that life. You may make friends there. It's not for me. I am too close to our original nature, as I'm sure the dear Inquisitor would put it.
I am confused. I do not know what to think. It is a lot to think about.
Best not to mention any of this to him.
It would be very difficult to hide my thoughts. He has chastised me already for thinking out of turn.
What were you thinking about?
You?
He's only jealous.
No, not like this. But I was thinking of how wonderful it would be to be as well-traveled and to have seen the same things you have.
It seems glamorous, but trust me, Rosette, I have my own miseries as well. For instance, that automaton was a friend of mine. I knew he was broken.
I did not realize.
The reason he stepped in front of you is the reason I kept him around. He would protect me from unwanted advances. It's what he was essentially programmed to do. Protect a woman when there was an angry man.
He was kind to me, and he saved me from harm, I believe. I am sorry for your loss.
Not as sorry as he will be, but it's nothing. Don't worry about it. And I recommend not thinking about me much more. I think it's best for you to focus on how well kept you'll be. You'll have a roof, you'll probably make friends because you're wonderful, Rosette.
I will think of silks and perfumes and the things that he believes women should preoccupy themselves with.
You'll want for nothing, and all you have to do in return is lay on your back and endure, 2 minutes?
It has been less so far. And she giggles, and it looks horrified that she's giggling to herself, that she's actually said that out loud.
Thank you for confirming that he is a two-pump wonder.
Might I inquire your other automaton companion? Do they share the same freedom as your friend did?
No. They are very much in complete working order as they should be. A little bit more advanced in technology. But sometimes...
I'm not going to make you roll deception. She's very naive.
Occasionally, for some reason, likes to tell me the state of the weather.
Sunny.
It's still winter, and sometimes gets it wrong. No, this one works in perfect order.
Perhaps we should order food.
Yes. Whatever
Yeah.
you fancy. Are we still going to meet up in the town later?
I believe we will be met by the guard straight away and taken from there. So unfortunately, we cannot.
Okay. But just remember what I've said. At any point you want to leave, you can get a message to me, and I'll make it happen. I might even make it happen legitimately.
Merci. And she goes about calling a waitress over to order food for you both. Sepsis.
Hello.
You're going to keep detect thoughts running for as long as the spell lasts, yeah?
Yeah.
Minute?
I'll check. Yeah, 1 minute.
Okay. So, my young friend, when we arrive in Paras, there are many obstacles that I intend to overcome. Some are obvious, political, loud, blustering, but easily blown away with a strong enough wind. There are other obstacles that require a more delicate touch. That touch should probably be administered in the darkness or through a wine bottle. I was perhaps, well, I would wonder if you knew anyone with the skill to help with these obstacles.
I'm going to reach into a pouch at my side and take out the red and black spotted grapes I found
Okay.
last time I was looking for poison components.
Okay.
My lord, are you familiar with the arts of alternative alchemy?
I have a working knowledge of such things. I am not a master by all accounts, but I can whip up a. And he pauses just before he says the next word. Potion or two.
Perhaps you're familiar with these then. Just one example of the ingredients that I find, out and about on my travels.
You must have traveled some quite deep, dark woodland when you were out and about to have come across such a thing.
I go where the components are.
These look actually quite potent, a fine specimen. And you have the knowledge to, I suppose, use them effectively as well?
Yes.
And you have done this before?
I hesitate to say something that would incriminate me, my lord.
Some of these obstacles are...
well protected?
Yes. There are many barriers, doors, walls. They're well guarded. You can see all the thoughts in his mind while your spell is going up as he goes through these different barriers, the different protections they have. And you have an image of the guard tower just outside of Porthtal, the moat around it, the corridors, the guard captain's chamber.
Yes, no, I take your point. I don't believe. I will cast disguise self. I'll use a subtle spell again just to make it more impressive, I guess.
Okay.
And I will just change my face into the face of the Inquisitors guard that we killed.
Okay.
Most such impediments, I find it's easier to go around rather than through.
Very good.
You'd be surprised how close you can get to people when someone else has already done all of the groundwork for you.
Oh, very good. I can see our friendship is going to go very well.
I live only to serve the Empire.
Roll the deception check.
You fluff this one, and it's not me rolling against you. I'm going to be so mad.
I do have inspiration. Can I use it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I gave you
Wow.
inspiration for the horrible pun you made just before we went live.
Yeah. In that case, it's 20. In that case, it's a 27.
Okay.
I did roll a natural one.
Okay.
I mean, that still would have been a 13, but
He stares at you for a moment and is silent for a moment longer than is usual in his, as you've gotten used to the ebb and flow of how a conversation with the Inquisitor works. Yes.
and of course, I assume that that one such as yourself speaks with the voice of the Empire as a whole.
That is an assumption one could make.
When I
However-
say that I serve the Empire, of course I will be guided by my lord in what this means.
Ah, yes. The Empire, or the true Empire. The Empire as it should be, under a stronger, much more intelligent hand. There are many changes coming into being, Sepsis. There are many secrets being divulged to ones who show great service to the right people. There is much power to be gained, political and much more esoteric.
My lord, may I speak candidly?
Of course.
Power is the only god, which I acknowledge.
And I can see we go to the same church.
As far as I am concerned, the authority and the best interests of the Empire are best served by advancing the interests of the powerful.
Then right here and now, Sepsis, you find yourself most assuredly serving the best interest of the most powerful person in this room.
I have no doubt.
There is no illusion that you hold some power yourself. I feel it emanating from you. You keep quite a tight lid on it, but it is there. There is much about you I have not yet been able to discern. However, as long as you prove useful, I will not inquire any further. I
Thank you,
pray
my lord.
you never give me cause to, and I pray that if I ever should, I do not find anything that would spoil our friendship.
My lord strikes me as the most pragmatic individual. I don't suppose that he would be too concerned with the proprieties of one's birth.
A man is defined by either his power or his ability to serve my ends.
It's really easy to keep the tone of this conversation going while Waffle is full on eating his back foot behind me.
But unfortunately, I can see now that the train drivers have made entrance into our destination with all haste. We have unfortunately run out of time for food. Please, though, stay a while. If you will, dine on my account. You will be allowed to retrieve your possession from my cabin, but do not tarry. It will be taken up by some knights and members of the Inquisition who will travel in my stead. They wish to investigate the goings-on on this train. A large contingent of them will board the train in the next town.
Thank you, my lord. I will make haste to retrieve our damaged goods.
Trust me when I say this, Sepsis. If you do anything to jeopardize our friendship or my empire, I will incinerate you where you stand, and your soul will know endless torment. As one who has already lived for 1,000 years, with my power, I have had much time to imagine such torment, such things, and have tested quite a few of them. If, however, you prove to be a good friend, I will show you where my power comes from. I too serve, and that person or that entity is always looking for more servants.
My lord.
Be well. And he gets up.
Glory to the Empire.
Yes, all of that. And he walks off back to his cabin. There is a visible, you can hear it, even though they've been completely professional up until this point. There is a visible relaxation and a very audible from the 4 servants standing as far away as they possibly can be, but also as close as they can still be.
I glare at them.
Yeah, that's my little okay, cool. So yes, he's gone. They stiffen up when you glare at them again.
I just turn and leave.
Oriana, you enjoy a fine meal. Rosette seems to be wolfing the food down, almost like she hasn't really eaten that much for the last couple of days. She seems starved, and has ordered enough breakfast for about 6 people, for the both of you, and seems to be wolfing down all manner of breads, cheeses, pastries. But you do notice buildings start to pop up out of the window. Just small buildings, like farm buildings. One, then a couple, perhaps a small village or a hamlet. But the buildings and the fields get smaller and the built-up areas start to get larger. And then when Rosette notices, she says, I believe we are coming into town now. perhaps it is time I left. And it is at this moment that Sepsis comes back into the carriage.
I'd very much like to see you off. I imagine all your things are packed and being dealt with by servants.
No, I packed them all myself this morning before I got up very early. Packed them all myself this morning at my master's behest.
But you've got nothing left to do but to leave the train.
Oui, but he wishes to leave with me, so I have to go back to him, and then we will disembark together and be escorted through the town.
Well, let me walk you back to him at least. I don't want you walking through this train on your own.
Of course, I believe if I say something, the guard should allow it. Let us see.
If it makes them feel better, my automaton can stay here with Sepsis. I'm not a threat.
We have to collect some
That's
property.
true. I have to collect my property as well, so I need to be heading that way anyway.
It may be wise to bring someone who can carry the load. I'm ill-equipped.
Could you go collect our orc friend?
Yes, Sylvia.
Thank you, Sepsis.
We will wait for them to return.
They'll meet us there. It'll be fine.
Oui. And she walks past the guard, allows you through. She explains to the guard that Sepsis is going to be following with others as they have something to collect from the Inquisitor's room. And the guard allows you to pass. Ace, you're in the cabin.
Very happily stuffing my face, completely oblivious to everything that's been happening.
Door
Ace.
opens. Sepsis is there.
Hey.
Ace, I need you to do an unpleasant task, and I need you to suppress your feelings about it.
What kind of unpleasant task are you after here?
The Inquisitor has killed 5s, and we need to collect him.
I see. Let me compose myself and I'll come with you.
Be quick about it. We don't have a lot of time.
With that, Ace is just gonna do the heaviest sigh you've ever heard from them. Stand up and equip the cap to disguise themselves as the half orc.
Okay,
And follow Sepsis.
cool. Well, that's happening then. Oriana, Dice, you're both following Rosette.
Was I allowed to go? Because Ori said she might
Yeah.
leave.
No,
Yeah.
you were allowed to go because you're collecting 5s.
I will follow quietly.
You get to the door. Rosette knocks on it. I cannot just enter in case he is in the middle of something.
That's fine, Rosette. You don't have to explain your every action to me.
And you hear the Inquisitor's voice. I thought I'd already done this and shrugged him off for the evening.
No, this is your punishment now.
But apparently not.
Just what you get.
So yes.
Kill my shit. You get to be the nasty man for longer.
You hear his voice. Enter from inside the door. And Rosette opens the door and you both, or all 3 of you step in. He's standing there. You can see now he's wearing a beautifully tailored traveling cloak. You can see all of the very well packed up belongings near the door. As you enter the room, you can feel the train slowing down. As it slows, the vibration in the floor becomes stronger, as it did when it first sped off, when you first got onto the train back in Calas. It would seem that slower speeds mean more instability with these hover crystals that are attached to the outside of the train. But the Inquisitor turns to you again, leers at you. Ah, I wondered whether I'd have the pleasure of your acquaintance again before I disembarked. I had thought to see you once we arrived at Paras, but fortunately, I have got to see you much sooner than anticipated. How are you? Sylvia, I believe?
Sylvia, yes. I'm well. I am upset to be losing a good friend so quickly. But I can understand your concerns and why you would choose a different form of transport now.
Oh, you mean Rosette? For a moment there, I thought you'd attach some semblance of feeling to the automaton you see behind you. And he points off into the dark corner of the room.
I don't look.
Okay.
That wouldn't be ridiculous. That's an automaton.
Ah, yes, they are quite cumbersome, but useful every once in a while.
I have another, and I vaguely gesture towards Dice.
This one is smaller.
Yes, it's more of a look threatening than can actually do anything.
It seems to be styled after the stealth model we were developing for the front line.
I can assure you there's nothing stealthy about the noise she makes while walking around.
No, it does baffle the mind when someone ascribes the word stealth to something that clunks and clangs every time it moves.
It does the job of deterring threats.
I apologize that I have, of course, had to remove a larger shield from you, but you seem well off enough in yourself. I'm sure you can purchase another in Paras.
Perhaps.
One that is not defective or broken. Perhaps
Yes.
newer this time, not second-hand from some backwater official flunky.
Yes, maybe something a bit more stylish.
We do have a new model coming out this summer.
I'll keep an eye out.
If you keep the corpse of this one, I'm sure you can get some kind of trade-in value.
Interesting choice to refer to it as a corpse.
I apologize. It's so humanoid. A slip of the tongue. I ascribe no life to these things.
Anyway, I believe you need to hop off this train.
And with that, the train stops. You can feel that it has come to a full stop.
I turn to Rosette and I sort of take both her hands. And I'm like, now remember, you're incredibly lucky. You're going to be very well looked after, and you're going to be spoiled rotten. It's more than I could ever dream of having.
Out of the corner of your eye, you do see that the Inquisitor is just massively uninterested in the conversation you've started having with his concubine, and has gone back to picking lint off his traveling cloak. Looks vaguely annoyed that you're still in his presence. Sepsis, Ace, you have been allowed through. It is at this point that you do get to the first class carriage with the Inquisitor. The door is still open. It was not closed after everyone entered. And you come in at this part of the conversation that Oriana is having with Rosette. You brought the
Muscle.
The labor. Yes.
Indeed. I hope my companion is not troubling you, my lord.
No. There are many similar voices having similar conversations in my dwelling in Paras. I am used to it.
Of course, we must learn to have the focus to tune out background noise.
I knew I liked you. But yes, if you could all please make space. Rosette, say your goodbyes.
I give her a hug goodbye. And as I'm hugging her, I sort of whisper and go, I'll be in touch.
And she whispers back, I will Wait.
As I say it, I sort of tap her head,
Okay.
just the hope she gets the hint that she might just hear me in here.
Okay. Okay. You don't know whether she got that hint or
No,
not.
I know. I've just got to really hope this poor girl.
Okay.
Hope she doesn't
And
freak out the first time I cast sending on her.
as you stand aside then, she moves out ahead of the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor turns as he steps out of the door. It was a pleasure to meet both of you. And he looks at Oriana and his gaze lingers on Sepsis. Please, though, do not tarry with the scrap in the corner. My men will be coming in to retrieve the baggage. It's possibly best if you are not in their way. To a safe travels and a possible future meeting in Paras.
To Paras.
I
And
look forward
he
to it.
steps out into the corridor. You were alone in a carriage 10 times more opulent than the one you were in. There is more gold covering every surface in this carriage than... Actually, no, you've got the loot from the Beholder than the amount of gold you had before you went to the Beholder's Lair.
A million
We
gold.
have like a
We
million
got
gold.
a million
yeah.
gold,
You
bro.
don't have 1 million gold. But for the moment, you are, as far as you can tell, all alone.
Guys, I love you. I love you all so much.
Okay.
Every time
um,
someone other than me says that, it just fills me with so much joy.
I said it in chat
Somebody said,
earlier.
yeah, somebody said it in the chat earlier. It was great.
I saw it. I was thrilled.
I finally turn and look at fives, and it becomes a bit obvious that I am now struggling to keep my emotions in, and I'm just staring at this empty husk now.
I'm going to approach and sort of put like a hand on Ari's shoulder.
I move away from. I
support.
just push it away. I'm like, no, don't touch me.
Fives has
I'm shaking.
seemingly collapsed where he was stood in the corner. The lack of life in his form has led it almost looks like a puppet who's had its strings cut. All of the limbs, all of the joints seem to be splayed in unnatural directions, as if the soul that inhabited the crystal in his chest was the only thing that kept him in the correct form.
State is the crystal in? Is it shattered or is it just cracked?
It is gone. There is a hole in his chest where it should be.
I'm going to. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm going to walk over and like kind of try and rearrange his limbs into like a normal position and stroke him a bit and just look really sad.
Dice
What?
from Vizier.
Oh. In which case, in my head.
Mm-hmm.
What?
This one before you.
Yes.
He is styled like my people. His design was very much like my own when I had form, before I was stolen and gifted to the Beholder.
You were in an automaton.
All Warforged have souls. It's just we can detach ours from time to time.
I don't see how that helps us with our friend who has passed away.
Got an empty suit of armor.
It does not. And as a metal form forged an inhabiting a soul. I promise you, I feel your friend's loss, as do you. However, that is not to say his form will never walk again.
Are you saying that you would like his form?
I'm saying that for want of a different one, I might use his form to shield you as he did.
Oh, I'm not sure that's going to go down very well at the moment. But equally,
What are we going to do with it?
Ariana, I'm sorry.
I handed him over.
no, we handed him over. I had no idea.
Either
I thought
way,
having
we
someone
can't
to
lug
watch the-
around an empty automaton.
We might not need to, but I don't know how you're going to react to the idea.
Well, tell me and you'll find out.
Okay. There are two things to keep in mind. One is that Five's soul is free and no longer constrained in a cage that he never wanted.
I'm aware.
The
You've noticed I refer to it as it and not Fives anymore.
The second is the crystal I'm wearing in my armor that contains a sentience.
Can it take it over the body?
It can. It was originally a warforged, which is what Antonius used to.
I imagine you'll appreciate the peace and quiet in your own head, so go for it.
I think you will still be able to talk in my head, potentially, but if you're not comfortable with it, I think we would both understand.
Dice, do it.
I'm
Fives
going
isn't
to-
in there anymore. It's a useless husk at the moment.
Before this happens, I'm going to gather the pieces of the control crystal.
Okay. Roll me an investigation check. It does seem to have exploded. It's all over the room.
Yeah, no, I don't need the whole thing. I just want, I mean, I want
Yes.
to get as much as possible, but
Okay.
I'm thinking about, potential for resurrection later.
Okay. Yeah. Roll me an investigation check
Yep.
with advantage, because of the kind of energy that it emits.
23.
23. Okay. It would seem that as you search the room, you can almost feel where all of the bits of pierce, some of the wood have lodged themselves in curtains, have got caught up in carpet and been trodden in, possibly by Rosette as she walked back and forth doing her chores. You don't think you've got the entire crystal, as some of it was potentially turned into dust. But all of the larger bits that could be found, it takes you a little bit of time, but you can find them.
Okay. I'm going to put them in a little pouch and put that in the bag of holding.
As you're doing that then, and as Oriana and Dice are having this conversation, you do hear a commotion outside, as if people are disembarking the train and have started to get on.
The train's staying here for a bit, isn't it?
As far as you were aware, the train is staying until tomorrow morning.
I'm going out. Do what you want with it. I'll be back in a bit, and I just leave.
Okay.
Please take your stone.
I've got it. It's in between my tits.
Yeah, she's got a stone. It's in her cleavage.
I dropped it in my cleavage right at the start.
Dice is actually heartbroken because obviously she brought Fives back and
Well, we all are.
no, I know. But Dice sort of goes, can we move the Ace, will you help me carry it back to our room and then we can work out what to do from there, maybe?
I will.
You're a lot stronger than I am.
Before we move Fives, though, I would like to do something.
Of course.
Okay.
Ace is going to sort of take a knee in front of Fives' form
Mm-hmm.
and just sort of recite like a sort of prayer, saluting to Fives and for their bravery and hoping them well in Valhalla.
Okay.
And then sort of have like a little moment of quiet, and then just go to pick him up and take him back.
Okay. As you do this, you recite your prayer, and you feel comfort and warmth flow through you. You can almost see it as a kind of electrical charge flow out of you into the space where the crystal that was inhabited by Fives' soul once was. And then it dissipates into the atmosphere, into the everything. At the very same moment, Oriana, as you're stepping off the train, you get a flash. The busy station platform in front of you, the building, all completely disappears, and you see a farm. The sky above is a beautiful cloak of stars. The farm is lit, even though there is no sun in the sky, and it is a beautiful autumn day. All the crops are high, and there, standing in the middle, is what you believe to be the soul of Fives. Fives is there cutting down crops, stacking them in the cart next to him, until you see two children, two small souls, run in and hide behind him. And out of the tall crops walks a hulking figure. Can't quite tell what it is. Ogre-like, but feral features, like a gnoll, perhaps a werewolf. And Fives puts down his scythe and picks up a large halberd. And with a smile on his face, pushes the children behind him and rushes forward to meet the beast. You have a sense that this will continue forever, and that this is a good place, and that Fives, while not at peace, is happy. Back to you, Ace.
Yeah. So Ace is going to sort of as carefully as they can lift and as with as much respect as possible,
Okay.
not just like hulking him like a load. Sort of carry him through to our carriage then.
Okay. Give me a second. You have a +5 to strength. So, give me a second. Carrying capacity, push, drag, or lift. 600 pounds. You're all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can. Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll a strength check. You can lift. You can lift an inanimate object. That's fine. So yeah, you in a as respectfully as you can. You do lift
that was
Fives
the
from
word
the
I was
ground.
looking for.
Yeah, you do lift Fives from the ground and begin to carry them back down the train.
Mhm.
Dice.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Once we're back, as we're walking back, I'm going to say to Gazea, so this change would allow you to talk with my friends as you do with me? Or would you still only be able to communicate through mind-to-mind contact?
To be able to converse with your friends, I would have to make some changes to the functionality of Fives' body. However, I believe I should be able to at least give him some eyes to see, a mouth, so to speak.
you will have to. I understand the change between the two, and while I am very sad for Fives, the life they were leading was not fair and was not their choice. They were trapped. I actually prefer that they are free. I would have preferred it not be through that asshole's hand, and we had found a way to do it of their choosing. But I think we can let you take over the body, but you will have to choose a name. We can't call you X5s, that would be inappropriate.
I have a name.
You still want to be called Vizier?
That was the name in the human tongue given to me by Antonius. As I have previously said, the name in the language of my people is quite hard to pronounce.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Or can be shown as a very long string of numbers, but we haven't got a year.
Some sort of machine code, I take it.
I suppose you could call it that, yes.
This bitch binary.
I can't call it binary.
While this is happening, Sepsis, what are you doing?
I think I'm going to leave.
Leave the train?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Follow Oriana?
I mean, follow Oriana out. I'm
Yeah.
not like tailing her.
Okay, cool. Before I go back to Dice, just quickly then, as Oriana, as you come back to yourself from that vision, which I hope has given you some comfort, and Sepsis, as you step out in the train and you look, I want you both to make a quick perception check for me.
Oh, I know. That bounced out.
18.
4.
18.
18, and what was yours? 4. 4, cool, okay.
Sepsis walks full body into the back of somebody.
Sepsis, there are so many people on this train platform, either carrying luggage and pushing it onto the train or taking it off, people getting off and on. Oriana, it's impossible to see anything past the wall of people on the platform. Oriana, because of certain wild magic and having been tall anyway, you peer over the heads of most of the people standing on this train platform.
Oh god, I'm N in Japan.
You can see off in the distance, leaving the station now, flanked by at least 12 dark robed or black robed figures, are walking in front, and then a few steps behind Rosette, walking in front is the Inquisitor as they walk out into brighter sunlight.
Cool.
The rest of the train platform is chock-a-block full of people. No humans.
Nope.
And as you peer around and look further back down towards where you know the human slaves are on the train, you do notice that there is a fence, like a see-through metal fence, that kind of partitions the train platform. And through that fence, you do see that there are some humans. But it almost looks like a kind of holding area.
Right. I am going to go look for a tavern.
Drink, cool, okay.
I'm going to go look for a drink.
Okay, Sepsis?
I'm going to go and look for
Come with me.
no, I'm going to go look for a quiet part of town.
It's quiet up there.
I'm just going to wander for a while until I find...
Gonna have a bit of an explore.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Dice. So,
Yeah.
sorry, back to your conversation with Vizier. I am, I will say, thoroughly looking forward to having hands once again.
I think that's reasonable.
Thank you.
And also a voice. Spells are quite hard to perform without the ability to perform verbal and somatic components.
You can perform spells.
I was a gifted spellcaster.
Right. Spells.
previous form.
That's why you want hands.
Right. Ace, are you still with me?
Yeah, you're walking behind Ace on the way back to the cabin.
Yeah, sorry, I was taking a sippy sip. And...
Oh. All right. When we get back, then when we get to the thing, we will place you in. If you would like help with any amendments to the shell, I would be happy to assist.
I have a certain ability with telekinesis to shape metal as a druid might stone.
I can also shape metal. Oh, I can't hear this conversation. Never mind. Redact. Redact.
I should be okay. However, should I need any help, you are the first person I will ask.
I'm afraid out of my very dear friends, and that does include Sepsis, by the way, for all that you may think they're a bit of a wanker. I think I would be your best bet to help with anything mechanical. Also, if you are good at shaping metal, no taking my job. It's my job, okay?
My skills do not lend themselves well to construction or the tinkering or the creation of magical objects. I have a certain innate magical ability. However, imbuing that magic on objects as you do is beyond me, and I am frankly baffled by the way you and then Antonius perform magic.
Okay, that's actually comforting, because if you'd been really good at that as well, I was going to have some concerns.
I have more in common with Oriana.
All right. Just don't be offended if people don't take to you straight away. It's not you. It will be, if you have the ability to change the chassis significantly enough that it no longer looks like fives, that would be to your advantage to be able to fit in.
I will endeavor to give myself a form that is both comforting and in no way unsettling to those that remember the original bearer of the body.
Thank you. I appreciate that myself, actually. All right, let's go find you a new home. I'll miss having you in my head, though. You're good company.
We have bonded.
I'll still be able to talk to you?
As long as the distance is not too great, we shall always be able to talk like this.
Oh, good. Because honestly, I can't translate Elvish on my own, and I need your help.
I will be around.
Okay. We'll go back to the thing then, and I will implant Vizier into vibes.
There is nothing in particular you need to do to remove Vizier from your chest. As you hold your hands towards the chest as if to detach him, he begins to float out of your chest and into your hands.
Still kind of creepy.
As you then put this metal and crystal orb into the cavity now left in Five's chest, it begins to glow brightly for a moment. And then all of a sudden dims. The light goes out. The crystal looks like dark stone. The metal loses its shine. Silence.
Are you okay? I'm going to say it out loud, even though I know they can't respond out loud yet.
And in your head, you hear a whispered, "Can't talk, busy."
Ace, my friend, who you apparently will all get to meet soon, is busy doing.
Oh.
I don't really know what they're doing.
Aren't they inside a stone?
Oh, sure, but you know, if crystals can hold human souls, why can't they hold? Oh my god, my brain's gone blank. Bri, help me, machine people.
You're thinking of Abyssal.
Warforged.
Warforged.
Ah, there we
Why
go.
can't they hold a Warforged soul?
I mean, sure. But what can they get up to inside a crystal?
I honestly don't know. I guess we're gonna find out, right? I mean, Vizier has been nothing but helpful since I bonded with them. They've not been uncomfortable to be friends with. So I am hoping that they will do well in a body. As much as it hurts to say, I think it is a good use of.
Yeah, I get the feeling that Fives is okay with not being entrapped in the crystal anymore.
I know, and it sucks to.
It was always that was the real Fives. This was sort of the form that allowed us to see them. That's all.
Sure, and to extract the soul, I mean, oh God, that means that all of our bodies are just vessels. Even the human ones, the warforged bodies, anything is just a house.
It's part of the reason why I think it's ridiculous that we have to conform to anything due to the shape of them.
No, you're right. It is ridiculous. The whole thing is. Still, I miss our friend.
I do too.
I hope they're okay. I know you said you think they are, and that's good, but
I have a feeling about it. It's not something I can give 100% assurance on, but it's a good feeling.
after Benkin, though, I'm not sure Ori's going to recover quickly from this.
It'll probably be best for us to keep an eye, but she doesn't really want physical what's the word? Reassurance right now.
I always keep an eye. Ori is my oldest friend. I just wish I knew how to stop her hurting so badly. Honestly, you'd think someone whose god is, Lord of the Underworld would be more okay with. No, I'm joking. It's a bad joke. I joke when I'm uncomfortable. I'm sorry.
I don't know a lot about their version of the Underworld, so.
It very much depends what Fives believed, I think.
Mm.
Where they went would be.
Didn't really talk to them about that a lot.
Honestly, I don't really understand how underworlds work either. Is it that you go where you believe you should go, or?
I'm not sure. With us having so many patrons and and we know there are multiple sets of these gods, I imagine that wherever your loyalties lie will lead you in favor to that version.
But if all the portals are closed and all the dimensions are closed, where do people go?
That's something I don't like to think about as much.
That's fair.
It's certainly been plaguing my mind since we left Nidum.
As someone who has died, I can tell you, I still don't know the answer. I don't think I was dead for long enough to find out.
Yeah, I think maybe you were still with us a little bit.
Yeah, I am pretty grateful. I didn't want to find out.
I'm grateful too.
Yeah. I think I'm going to just spend a little bit of time sitting and maybe drawing or reading or something.
Yeah. I might put Fives in a bunk for now. Just so that they're not
in the way. It's
not,
okay.
Not that it's in the way. It's just that I think if Ori does return and they're here, it might be a little upsetting.
No, that's okay.
So I think maybe having them in a respectful manner in a bunk would be better. I'm happy to give up my bunk crew.
I hope Vizier doesn't mind being moved. A little hard to tell because they said not to bother them. So,
Well, I'll be careful with it.
Thank you.
And I'll very, very carefully sort of lay out the bunk just flat, take off any bedding, and place Fives flat down on the bunk, nice and peaceful.
Okay.
Is the bunk okay with that weight?
The bunk strains, but it
Mm.
is okay with the weight.
Okay, as long as it's not going to murder nobody, I'm good.
As long as no one else sits on the edge of the bunk, it's probably going to be okay.
Okay, souls don't weigh anything, right?
No, you'll probably be okay.
What is the weight of a soul?
It depends. You'd have to.
There's been studies on it.
You'd
like,
have to
out
ask
of character.
Yeah, but you'd have to ask Toff.
The actual study.
Because if it's heavier or lighter than a feather, that could depend on where they end up as well.
Oh, I thought you meant Toph from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I was like, why would she know?
Not Toff. Toff.
She's not very philosophical. She mostly likes flinging rocks
No,
at
you're
people.
thinking Egyptian. Yeah. I know what you mean.
However, Ori and Sepsis, I would like you both to roll me an investigation check, please.
Oh my god. Sorry, I just googled it.
19.
Does anyone want to know?
What, the weight of a soul?
Mm-hmm.
Go on then.
21 grams.
All right.
Yeah. That's your trivia for the day.
I don't think I can manage 21 grams.
What was yours,
Oh.
Greg?
19.
19. Ori?
21.
21. Okay.
Okay, but does it get heavier the more guilty you are?
I don't know.
The 21 grams thing, doesn't that come from the this pseudoscientific bullshit that you lose 21 grams when you die?
Yeah.
And
That's what
that
I
people
get
think that's
from
the
Dan
soul
McDougal.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Duncan McDougal.
Because
yeah.
they did a whole fucking film that was called 21 grams, and it was about that was the overarching thing. It wasn't very good.
I recall.
Anyway, D&D.
Yeah, back to D&D.
No, this is in D&D. We were in character.
Yeah. Duncan McDougal. He was a dwarf of great renown. Dwarf cleric. But no, sorry. Ori. It doesn't take you long to find what is effectively the tavern district of this town. It also doesn't take you very long to find out that you are in the town of Jardin. The taverns are loud, boisterous,
God damn it.
even at this time of day, but they all seem to be in a long street. There's people already now going into them for a quick morning drink. It seems that the arrival of the train is big business in the towns that are along its route.
Cool. I am going to go into the first one I come across.
First one you come across?
Yep. Order a drink.
This one is called the Brightest Brass Trumpet.
Right.
The S on the end of brass, like the two S's, there's a bit too much space between them, and it's slightly closer to the beginning of the T at the beginning of trumpet. So it might be the Brightest Brass Trumpet. You're not quite certain, but you do walk in, and you start immediately to leave from where you go, as it appears to be a gentleman's club. There are many other tiefling women in there. All of them work there, and all of them are in a much no, they are in a much bigger state of undress than you ever have been.
Right.
But even this early in the morning, it appears that even D&D has strip clubs with breakfast buffets.
in them. And yeah, it is a roaring trade already going on 11 o'clock in the morning.
Cool. I go to the bar and ask for a coffee.
Okay. There is a tiefling gentleman standing behind the bar, currently serving others. And as you walk up, kind of looks you up and down. Are you still Sylvia, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the Inquisitors in town. Yeah.
Kind of looks you up and down. You want a coffee?
Yeah.
A cafe?
Cafe au lait.
You to start your shift or what?
No, I'm a patron.
Oh, I thought you looked unfamiliar, but as you can, the attrition with staff is quite high, as you can imagine in a place like this. Of course, Cafe Ole. Do you currently have employment?
Yes. Just bring me a coffee, please.
Of course. And he brings you over a coffee. That will be 2 copper.
I hand him the 2 copper.
So you send from Albion, Kimia?
Oui.
I will not comment on the accent, but thank you for trying.
My best friend growing up has a Charlemagne accent, and I spent most of my childhood making fun of her. Never thought I'd end up in a place where I was the one speaking funny.
Yes, but as you can see from myself and from the way your persuasion as well, it's never fun, I suppose, being the minority. But yes,
Tell me about it.
What brings you to Shalem?
I'm looking for a temple.
A temple? This is a temple to flesh, I suppose, but not the kind of temple you will find clerics or many deities frequenting.
No, I'm looking for a temple to death.
Death?
Hades.
Oui, you are quite far away from most temples of Hades I am aware of.
Yes, well, making our way to Paras and then eventually to Grisha.
There was, I believe, a very long time ago, what you would call foreign revival in Paras, where a lot of the architecture, a lot of things, a lot of the art, a lot of the buildings were adapted from much further afield. I believe in Paras there is almost an entire subsect of the city that was dedicated to Gracia, one to Egyptes. That has mostly been built on top of at the moment, but I suppose if you could find someone in Paras to guide you through the catacombs, there are perhaps a temple there to Hades or one of the other gods of debauchery. And you look confused. You have heard about Gracia, no?
Yes, I'm also very aware of what Zeus got up to, so
Yes.
Hence why I follow Hades instead.
Yes, he's a lot more. He's in fact the pillar of monogamy, from what I remember of my lessons as a child.
Yes, but he did also marry his own niece.
Oui, but they are Grecian gods. Zeus is father to them all. The rest of them are all brothers and sisters. I do not think the Grecians care about incest.
No, they don't. But he is also a god of wealth.
I take it that because he is, you are a patron of his, that means you are also wealthy?
To an extent, not to an elven level.
Perhaps I should have charged you more for the cafe.
I'm glad you didn't.
Have you just got in on the train?
Yes.
And you have already been fleeced for your drinks way too much.
Every coin.
Come, we will talk of your deities. It is a long time since I have had someone in here who's not asked for an alcoholic drink and actually seems to have a brain inside their skull.
I think you'll find that every girl who sells her body has got a brain.
My name is
You've got to have quite the brain to realize that you can sell something so easily.
Oh, I meant the patrons. Most of the
Yeah.
girls in here, Crest, and he points up at one who's currently doing some quite energetic gymnastics from what is like trapeze hanging from the ceiling in the center of the room. She is a cleric. She is thought of as one of the most devout and intelligent people in the temple, but unfortunately the temple has fallen on hard times, and she is also a top earner. Most of our wages, I believe, go back into teaching the children and the cleric. She is more intelligent than I think every single patron in here put together. What I meant was, it is rare that I get to speak to a patron who is so well-read, eloquent, and interesting as yourself.
There's nothing more satisfying than a man with one hand in his pocket and the other one down his trousers.
There is nothing so easy to fleece for their wealth, of course. But come, my name is Redemption. What is yours?
Sylvia.
You may call me Remy.
Remy.
It is a pleasure.
Good morning, Remy.
And at some point, if we are very good friends, I would like to see what you look like underneath the illusion.
Maybe. Right now, that's not safe.
But for now, we will just be strangers, having a fun conversation.
Until the Inquisitor is no longer in town.
At the mention of the Inquisitor, he starts a little bit, but then the smile goes back on his face. It is always much more comfortable in any town when the Inquisitors are nowhere near.
It might be a bit more comfortable to know that his little fiend hunter is dead.
I am going to... And he gets a bottle of whiskey from behind the bar, and he gets 2 large glasses. And he pours some very large measures in both of them. And he picks one up, leaves the other one on the bar. I'm going to drink this in memory of that bastard.
I pour it into my coffee.
And I was going to say that if the person who had anything to do with his death is watching, they can have this drink on me.
Pour it into my coffee, because in a roundabout way, I did have something to do with this death.
I will say no more on the matter. Cheers. And he knocks back his drink. Sepsis.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Why?
Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
It's possible I've accidentally closed my character sheet.
What did you say the word Jardin?
14?
Jardin.
14.
14. Okay. As you are walking through
I
the
do have
streets-
advantage against spells or other magical effects.
No, it's fine. As you're walking through the streets of Jardin, you find yourself walking in the opposite direction to everyone else. It also quickly becomes apparent to you that the arrival of the train in Jardin and the stopover for the night means a massive bolster of business, huge upswell in business for the time that it is there. It is almost a celebration. So as more and more people move towards the train, you move away. And it doesn't take you long, having been in many of these towns and cities now and working out where the seedier or quieter elements who like to be left alone dwell. You eventually get to a shadier part of town. There are mostly dwellings, lots and lots of high-rise, in your opinion, maybe 4 or 5 stories.
Yeah.
Terrace
What I'm
tenements.
specifically looking for is like single person dwellings.
Mhm.
That's exactly what I'm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as you move further and further out, then the buildings get lower, more further spaced apart, until you get to the relative outskirts of the town. It is not a walled town, it just ceases to be and begins to be smaller houses, fields stretching off over the hills into the horizon, where you can see in the distance barrows, small mounds that many, many years ago may have been mass graves, or at least grave sites. There are a few houses off on their own.
Yeah. So I'm looking for a place that it looks like, would belong to one person.
Like a hovel. Okay.
Yeah.
You eventually get to one. It seems to have a small farmable patch of land around it, but the building itself could only possibly be a small living area and 1 bedroom. No bigger.
I'm going to cast. Oh, I'm going to try and hide a little bit. I'm going to cast disguise self,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to make myself look like a. What's the population around here? Is it human around here?
As you've been walking through Jordan, there are quite a few humans. However, it's the majority of it is way back when they were half orcs, slightly diluted now. There's a lot of dwarves, gnomes, a lot of interspecies pairings, and tiefling. The majority is, you would say, probably half orc.
Okay, I'll disguise myself as a little girl, but like half orc.
Okay.
But like maybe like quarter orc, like very diluted.
Okay.
Child is back.
Yeah, I'm gonna like a 9-year-old girl sort of thing,
Okay.
like grubby torn dress.
Alright.
And I'll go up to the door of this
I swear to God, Greg, if you don't name her Cosette, I will be so mad.
dwelling, and I'm gonna knock on the door.
I am coming. Please wait. And you hear some shuffling footsteps from inside. And then the door opens, and not much taller than the form you have chosen, you see a stooped old woman with a shawl around her shoulders.
What is it about you that makes you you want me to kill old women so much? Are we working something out here? And I'm going to be like, I'm crying, and I'm like, please help! I got separated from my mum, and I didn't see where she went, and I need. I'm very hungry and cold.
Of course, my Betty. Come in. Come into my house. Nanny will look after you.
Thank you.
Are you alert, Sepsis?
As much as I ever am.
Okay, roll me a perception check as you step inside the house.
Ooh, 18. That's the second
18.
best number I can roll.
Okay. As you step inside the house, it briefly flashes in your mind that the plants hanging from the window boxes were exotic, strange. Every single one of them was highly poisonous. Also, you flash back then to a memory of the garden, which seemed to be not being used for food. There seemed to be a lot of hemlock, belladonna, strange flowers that you would have been quite pleased to find in nature when you were traveling on your travels through Albion. However, seem to be in a distressing abundance in this old woman's garden. And as you step inside, there is the smell of food, the smell of cooking, homemade bread, the smell you would associate with the older, wiser women of the village of Nidum. However, there's also another smell, which you had become accustomed to, because of the strange corpses that your master would leave mouldering for days after a sacrifice that had gone wrong. There is the smell and stench of flesh. And you come to this realization as you hear the door behind you lock.
I like your garden very much.
Thank you. What is your name, little one?
Cosette, madam.
What a pretty name. Come, I'd like to have you for lunch.
I am going to use another subtle my last sorcery point to cast Detect Thoughts as a subtle spell.
Okay. Okay. So as you detect thoughts, then the only thought you can hear emanating from this woman's mind is, I haven't had child in a while. And I'm so hungry. And with that, we're going to leave it there.
You bastard.
Yes. With that, we are going to leave it there.
You have.
Fucking, are you fucking, is this a fucking hag? I'm gonna fucking kill you.
You'll have to come back next week and find out. But yes,
We can find out.
on that cliffhanger, we are going to leave it there. Thank you very much. Yeah, how'd it go, guys?
Yeah, it was
I
good.
enjoyed
I
very
don't
much.
want to say did you enjoy it, because Charlie's going to reach through the computer and slap me.
Yeah, I mean the whole Nullis household is no longer talking to you, but apart from that, I think it's gone very well.
Including Waffle.
I had a
Yeah.
great time.
Waffle says you're a shithead.
Look at him, so sad in the corner. He's mourning right now.
He is. He's so upset. He's like, you made my mummy cry.
Look in his eyes. Look in his eyes and tell him what you've done.
Look in his eyes and tell him.
I'm sorry, Waffle. Oh, look, he's forgiven me. He's forgiven me. The dog.
Oh, he's come
forgives-
over to make sure he can hear you say it.
I'm sorry, Waffle. But yes, I hope everyone in chat enjoyed. Uli69. Hey, Uli. Hey, man. How's it going? Lot buddy, sorry. Yes, so I hope everyone did enjoy. We will be back next week. This week, if you check out our Twitter, no, go die in a fire. Sorry, Biggie. Please
Makes me cry.
check out. Is it?
At him, aren't we?
Is it
Aren't we?
Beholder
Yes.
Dice? Yes, at Beholder Dice on Twitter. Please go pop over. There will be a dice competition this week on Twitter. You have to be in it to win it. It will be one of those must follow, must like kind of dealies. I will post the rules this week. So please go follow at Beholder Dice on Twitter.
Because I'm not allowed to enter that one as well.
Oh, anyone can. It is literally going to be an anyone can, names out of a hat, follow, like, share, one of those deals. But I'll post the rules on Beholder Dice this week. Yes, but apart from that, I hope you've all enjoyed. Bring more people back next week with you. Tell your friends
Follow me on Twitch.
how horrible I am.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next one. We are 4.
4.
Charlie is 4 followers away. So please, if it,
I'm
I
affiliate.
can't remember, 4 followers away from getting affiliate, when Charlie can then get subscribers and start to try and earn some money from streaming on Twitch. So please, can you do it from clicking on the username in chat?
Can
I
you
think
go
so,
to the?
yeah. You can go to my
Okay,
channel from
click
there.
on the username chat, or just go to the channel, go follow hey_Charlie, HEYY_Charlie. Get that extra 4.
I agree, Stu.
When are you doing your 20-hour Roblox charity stream, bro?
Your apology stream.
There will be no 20-hour Roblox. What,
Yes, there
20
will.
20 hours of Tower of Hell?
20-hour Tower of Hell, yeah.
You might make it to the top of one.
No, I tell you
No, he
what,
won't.
right? I tell you what. Okay,
It would take him 2 weeks.
if you can,
Longer.
I tell you what. You do a fundraiser. If you can get 200 quid. That's
300 last time.
It's like a 0 off it. If you can get 200 quid before it, I'll do a 20-hour Roblox stream. 20 hours of Towers of Hell.
Not mention you on what?
Huh?
Don't worry. Carry
Yeah, anyway, I'm 4 followers away from affiliate.
Yes.
I don't have
go
an actual
follow
streaming schedule at the
Hey
moment
Charlie.
because I can't keep to a schedule. But most of the time, it's all of us together anyway playing shit on there.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of Valheim, lots of mostly just lots of Valheim.
At the moment.
Jackbox party. every now and
Jackbox
again.
Party. That was great
Doing
last night.
new game plus on Fallen Order as well, aren't you, baby?
Mhm.
Yes, just started a new game plus on Fallen Order.
But yes.
Finally, Cal is well dressed.
But
That's an Inquisitor.
mostly everyone should stick around, and if you're not already, follow Heavyweight Gaming, because this is a
Yes.
wonderful community to be part of. And
Yes.
there's lots of fantastic games that go on throughout the week: D&D, Pathfinder, Carbon 2185, and guest streams as well. But apart from that, because AD needs to go, because we do keep him up late, bless him. As always, stay safe. Take care, wear a mask, don't go outside unless you have to. Follow government guidelines, but more importantly, common sense. We love you guys. You'll be in touch about your NPC. Okay, yeah. We love you guys. And we'll see you next time.
No start.
No
We'll
star.
start. Good
Love
night,
you
everybody.
guys.
Bye.